What is happening, Magnus? So, I'm very interested because, people have been putting out excuses. He was jet lagged and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay. Let's check this out and let's see what the man has to say.
Let's start with the debate. You and your team have said you had a bet.
He's like, yeah, I knew he was going to start with that. Come on, let's do it. Let's get it over with.
At night. But your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode? She framed the question that had a bad night. But your friend
I surely
Nancy Pelosi
did, okay.
actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It was a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You say you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before.
Now, see, I was listening to stuff earlier and yesterday, and people were saying, they're like, well, wait a minute, how are you exhausted and jet lagged? But they said he was like, he wasn't traveling for like 11 days or something, or he was home for 11 days or something like that. So they were like, well, how's he jet lagged if he wasn't traveling for 11 days before this? So I
as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Okay, so they asked me, so he did have rest.
Because I was sick, I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs...
Oh, that's what I was hearing. He was jet lagged, he was exhausted, and he had a cold.
With me, I asked if they did a COVID...
That's a whole lot of cope.
...test. We were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
And did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, what I want to get at is, what were your experiences?
He's like, I was there. I didn't need to. And he's asking, but did you watch it back to maybe see where you may have faltered?
Experiencing as you were going through the debate, did you know how badly it was going?
Yeah, look. The whole way I prepared, nobody's fault, mine. Nobody's fault but mine.
Okay. Hey, listen. One thing I always tell you guys, as men and as women, as an adult, when you mess up, the respectable thing is to take full accountability. It was your fault. It was your fault. It was your fault. You get what I'm saying? So if you're the most powerful man on the planet, or at least the face, you get your rest, you do whatever it is you need to do, your flashcards, all right, you run your drills, all that stuff, so you can be ready, so you can win this debate. There really is no excuse, but it is what it is. It's politics. People are going to make excuses for their guy. People are going to make excuses for the other guy. People are going to root for both sides and watch them fight it out. So
I prepared what I usually would do, sitting down as I did come back with foreign leaders or the National Security Council for explicit detail. And I realized about partway through that, I get quoted, the New York Times had me down at 10 points before the debate, 9 now, or whatever the hell it is. The fact of the matter is that what I looked at is that he also lied 28 times. The way...
Now, I was watching both sides on stuff, and people were saying they both lied several times. I don't know who lied more. And, so, that's why I told y'all I didn't trust either one. I find Trump to be way more entertaining and funny. So it's kind of like, well, if I'm going to have anybody, I'd rather it be the guy that's the most entertaining. Because, Joe's, he's starting to lose them faculties. I saw a video that was like a before and after him. And he was way sharper like 10 years ago. Much sharper, So.
The way the debate ran, not my fault, no one else's fault. No one else's fault.
But it seemed like you were having trouble from the first question in, even before he spoke.
Cornering him.
Well, I just had a bad night.
All right. I want to see this full interview. Now, I heard that earlier that this interview was going to be, I guess, taped or whatever. Like, people were saying, like, yeah, this is going to be fully taped. But he cornered him. So, okay. So, credit to the interviewer, I forgot his name, for cornering him, asking him the harder questions. And, okay. Post comments down below. Let me know what you think. Do you believe that Joe was truly exhausted? Do you believe he had a cold? Do you believe that he was jet lagged? Do you accept the fact that he did accept full fault for it? I do. I'm like, okay, that's what a man does. Now, you get ready for your next one. 10 million subscribers. Woo!